everyone. My name is Kelly McKenzie, and I want to thank you for taking the time to review my personal learning network. I wrote this in my description on the web board. I apologize for that. But I am an instructional designer for undergraduate students. So I work with professors, so I decided to make this capstone kind of a hybrid of what I would make for students, plus notes for professors. So I don't have all of that completed. I'll have more of that when I hand it in next week. But I do have some notes on project-based learning and a couple things like that. But for the most part, it'll just look like it would for a student. But again, I will be adding some more notes just due to the nature of my job. I've had a course before where in an introductory English class, students are reading The Kite Runner. So that's what I picked for this topic. And as you can see, if you've used Blackboard, this is just the home page. And you can see the announcements I've made. Two announcements here to, welcome students to the online portion of the Kite Runner. And for this, I want to mention too that this is not an online course that I developed. It's something where students can use this, in case they missed a lecture, if they want to go over lecture notes, and then also so that they can discuss topics in the discussion board at home, and where they can collaborate with the discussion board, with the class wiki, in order to come up with ideas for research projects. So that's kind of the whole reason why I design pages for professors like this. So that's here, and so you can see I have another announcement talking about the discussion boards. It says, as we move through this course, I want to encourage all of you to be using discussion boards when confident to do so. This is a great resource for all of you to collaborate, share, and develop ideas for research, like I said. So we can go in and look at what I've built here. And this is the whole content for 4 weeks of class. So my first folder here is for the professors, a note on project-based learning. And I want to develop this a little more, and I want to create a couple other folders based on instructional design theory, kind of in between each of these units, because these are all for students. So I'm going to put some more notes in there when I'm finished. So I want to show everyone kind of the layout here. So I'll come back to this. This is our page for a class wiki where everyone can collaborate. But I just kind of want to show everyone how this works. So it's set up where you kind of move chronologically through a unit. And like I said, this teacher it's an in-class traditional, but that way these students can get online and take a look at if they missed a course or if they want to go over it again. If they are more visual learners, they can come home and look at the class again and go on in the discussion boards and write their answers that they wrote down in class already. So every course has the lesson plan that I developed, also the Word document attached. So it breaks it down completely. And this is also a note for the professor as well, kind of thinking about what they'll need, some of the ideology behind the importance of, certain educational ideologies, things like that. So each unit will have one of these, and it does. So, all of the procedures, what they need, and then the assessment, whether it's formative or summative. So we're still doing that at undergrad level, at least when an instructional designer comes in. So, and like I said, you can also click on the layout if the professor or the student wants to print it out at home and take a look. Next, so each unit has at least one group activity. Project-based learning is very important, especially when breaking down complex texts, and the Kite Runner is quite complex. So we'll take a look at the jigsaw activity, but again, here's a note that says, once you've completed the jigsaw activity in groups, please post to the discussion board so that everyone has access to your very important brainstorming. So again, I'm kind of drilling into their heads that collaboration, especially using web tools, can be quite useful. And so this is the jigsaw activity on the Kite Runner. It's just working in groups. It says, for this activity, you'll be working with your group to complete the background questions on Afghanistan and its people. Each group member will take a role at which they will become an expert. The roles are ethnicity, religion, and history. Use the Schoology presentation, gather information pertaining to your area of expertise, then report your findings to your group members. We will discuss these areas as a class. So Schoology is another web tool that we use in class, but it's just a PowerPoint presentation. It's just a different form of one. So this is another thing they will work on together, and each unit has at least one of these types of group work that they work on in class, can bring home, continue to work on, and use for thinking about research. And then so use class discussion and PowerPoint presentation to complete jigsaw activity with peers. So this presentation that I provided will help. So I provided the presentation, like I said, and this can help students with their activity. So this is based on, so the Kite Runner is based on some cultural aspects of the book and the author. So this will help them get through that activity, and obviously they can use their own research skills, since they have quite a few resources. So, and then at the end of this class, I show a clip of the Kite Runner in order to introduce students to kite running as a sport, which the novel gets into quite a bit. And I want to look at, because I want to, I just wanted to drive home, because I want to, so each lesson I do want to have some a formative or summative assessment. So for this one, through the jigsaw activity, students will demonstrate basic knowledge of Afghan history and culture by taking on an expert's role, reporting a specific element of Afghan life to a small group. So that's important based on how students learn, and also again using those project-based learning skills and Web 2.0 skills. So have that. I'm not going to go through each unit. Maybe we'll look at one more, just to kind of show you how each of them works. This one has an exit slip, which I think is fun because it uses Google Forms. So again, we have the lesson plan listed here with the document if you want to open it up and get a bigger view. And so the assessment here is we're going to have a prompt, which is before class discussion begins, which will be identify what we know at the end of the chapter about Amir's coming of age experience, what made Amir what he is today at the age of 12, and explain how Hosseini uses this information to build suspense. So that's before class discussion. So that's an important type of assessment. And then we'll have an exit slip. Through the exit slip activity, students will demonstrate their knowledge of coming of age conventions and relate that knowledge to evolving understandings of Amir. So just to show you a couple of the tools that I used here. This is the anticipation activity. I used the assignment portion of this. In order to do the anticipation activity. So that's how you do that one. And they just post their answers right here. I was looking for the document. The document's right here. You can open that up and share your answers here. Share your answers on the discussion board, and we'll obviously share them in class. I'm not going to be answering that. So another worksheet that we'll be working on in class that they can post to the discussion board. Notes on characters, so that we can really get a good understanding. We have study questions, vocabulary, all based on the first few chapters. And again, you can open up the document. And this I wanted to show as a kind of neat tool. So use the Google Forms link to answer the following questions, and it gives the questions here, and you can click. This is their exit ticket, and the answers go to me and the professor, and that's kind of how they leave class for the day. So obviously they'll have their laptops in class, as they do every day, but that's kind of a neat tool for kids to get engaged in the lesson because they get to do the exit slip. And I think the discussion boards are kind of fun for them in that way as well. Let's see. I'm going to see if there was another tool. Reading quiz. So everything else is generally the same, except I did start a class wiki, which is a good tool for class collaboration. So I want them to share 2 to 3 research topics on the class wiki. And I'm going to write more about the wiki on this for the professor for their use. And then we also have the discussion board, which just has all of the items. So you pick the thing that you want to talk about and you share and collaborate. So that is the gist of my project. I still have a few more things to add, as I mentioned, but I really appreciate you taking the time to evaluate it, and I look forward to evaluating all of your projects. Thank you again, and good luck with your finishing touches.